Stretford, Paddock, Burnley 1, Manchester United 1. United drawing at Turf Moor after taking the lead through Paul Labille Pogba. We then see an equaliser from Jay Rodriguez. Joining me, Joe Smith and James Young. Get involved in the comments, get involved in the chat. You might not like what you've just seen, but do give us a like on the video and let us know what you think about that performance. James, I'll start with you. First half was pretty sort of, not perfect by any stretch of imagination, but there was very few negatives after the first half, I felt like that was a good first half performance from Manchester United. We started off pretty well.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing. United was so good in the first half, and they probably should have had 2 goals as well. And that should have been the game, should have been it. 3-0, right, that's it. Second half, doesn't matter. But again, like they did against Middlesbrough, there was a VAR decision that was ruled out, and then the game just dragged on. And it almost felt inevitable, really, that Burnley were going to get an equaliser. And then once they did, it was like, okay, well, this is it now, isn't it? And this is kind of what United have come to. The same thing happened against Middlesbrough when they got an equaliser. United didn't really look like they were going to get a response to that. And the same thing sort of happened today. It just sort of fizzled out, and just 2 points dropped again. And this is the thing, you know, Ragnick's come in. He's got this run of games where he should be winning more of these matches. Newcastle, Wolves, Villa. These drop points against these sides that United should be getting results against. And it's so frustrating because there's no excuse for dropping points today. Burnley are bottom of the league. They've barely won any games all season. They're not a good team. And yet the same result has happened again.
Joe, you know, it's a cliche game in 2 hours, but what is going wrong at United? Why can't we sort of put these games to bed when we've had the opportunities?
Yeah. I think we're still massively low in confidence, or the confidence that we have slowly built is still sort of paper thin. Like James said, after they scored their goal, we didn't really look like scoring again after that. When you think that's when we should be pushing on and you know, sort of biting back again, we only look good when the other team is scared. And when the other team's confident and, you know, coming after us, we go, hang on, no, you're not allowed to do that. You know, Maguire shitting his pants, him and McTominay running into each other rather than tackling Rodriguez. Yeah. And then from there, he's playing catch-up, trying to recover, and he's not capable of doing that. So it's a shocking bit of defending from Harry Maguire. Awful. But the other side of the game is, between the Middlesbrough game and today, how many great chances have we missed? 15? Like, the fact that we've scored 2 goals out of these 2 games is absolutely ludicrous. We've had 2 goals ruled out, both of which I think were goals. Certainly the first one. Yeah. Maguire just sort of stands still, and apparently that's a block. Yeah. Like the second one as well, Paul Pogba kind of puts his arm on the guy's shoulder as he's trying to get past him. I wouldn't say it's a foul, but they've both been disallowed. Cavani's heading the ball in from 6 inches out, 6 inches off the line, and it hits Pope's knee. Ronaldo having 3 headers over the bar. You know, it just incredible the amount of chances we've missed. And as much as Burnley have got a draw and whatever, you can say they deserve it, they've had like 2 chances all game.
But United have let them score.
No, United have let them score. I'm not saying you know, a goal is a goal and that's the result and that's, you know, that's just what you deserve is what you get. I get all that. But like the fact that 2 games in a row we are this wasteful in front of goal, we are allowing so few chances against us, and yet we've come away with, you know, a loss against Middlesbrough in the end and a draw today is absolutely stunning. I can't really believe that we've seen that, because that game, that first half, like you said, that's got to be 2 or 3-0 at half-time, and at that point the game's over. Burnley don't have much fight left in them, but we left them with just enough room to use what fight they have left to get a draw today. If it's 2-0 at half-time, it's game over. And yet, for some reason, we're just incapable of doing it. And now we've got the Ronaldo question to keep asking, because he came on back into the game and looked no better than he has done, you know, in the last few weeks, which isn't very good. He doesn't do anything. He just sort of stands in the box hoping the ball comes to him, and when it does, he heads it over. Like, just a shit time to watch Man United. It's so frustrating. Just when you think you're starting to get somewhere, it's just all of a sudden it's going from we can't create any chances and we concede loads to we make loads of chances and don't actually concede many, and yet now's the time when we're losing and drawing games. So it's just like mind-boggling, really. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I agree with both of what you've said. I mean, I just feel like the excuses have to stop, like across the board. Do you know what I mean? And I'm probably more guilty than anyone on this channel of making excuses for players. I'm always saying, oh, fitness, form, mental health, all these sort of things. I do bring those things up because I think they're valid reasons a lot of the time for some of the things we've seen at Old Trafford. But there comes a time when you say, he's having a bad season, he's not delivering, he's not playing well enough, he's missing chances, he's making basic errors. You know, why have we had 130 odd corners and we haven't scored a goal? Why can we not put a decent ball into the box? And why, on the rare occasions that we do, are we seeing Harry Maguire head it wide, Cristiano Ronaldo head it over? These are experienced footballers who've scored goals with their head for their country and for previous clubs regularly, in the case of Ronaldo. And yet, it's just poor. Looking at it from midfield, little things as well. Giving the ball away constantly to Burnley in the beginning of that second half. Giving it them back. They had the ball, they give it us, and we giving it them straight back. Silly mistakes. And you should be playing a lot better than you are at the ability you've got playing for Manchester United and at the level you are where you're either a player who's, captain in his country or scored hundreds of goals or, cost over 60 million quid. You should be doing better against the likes of Peters and Tarkowski and me, who, if Burnley go down, will still be playing for Burnley next season. No one is going to come in for Ben Mee next season. I guarantee it if he goes down because they're not that good. And we just made them look good. You said it earlier on, James. You said about we made Newcastle look good. We made Watford look good. We made Villa look good. We make teams look good by us playing badly. And there comes a time when you have to stop making excuses and say, for me, it looks like you've got one or two players who just, maybe even few more, who are playing like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if we lose this game or we drop points there. It'll be all right. It won't be all right. We won't make top 4, and that will be disastrous for this club. If we don't get into the Champions League next season, it's going to cause all sorts of issues. We already know we're going to lose Cavani, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba as a given. They're out of contracts. Ronaldo, we don't get top 4, he ain't going to stick around. Varane might have some in his contract in the Champions League, he might go, and I won't blame him. You could be up for another massive rebuild with owners who don't know what they're doing and a new manager coming in, and it's just not good enough. I want to get both your thoughts in a minute. I've got loads of super chats, so I'm going to get into some of them, and then I'll go back to you, James. KM, who's been a member of the academy for 14 months, can't hold lead when we take the lead. It's an endless loop, carbon copy of the Villa draw and the Borough game. Can't hold a lead or kill the game. Agreed. We've just all sort of said some similar things. Midto Kamarius, been a member of the academy for 6 months. We can't keep blaming this on managers, coaches, this and that. It's on the players, on the field, and the Glazers, and no one is doing their job. I mean, yeah, the players have to take some responsibility, like I've just said. Sticks Zardinia, who's been a member of the academy for 9 months. Burnley and Middlesbrough is our level now. Nothing more than overpaid, gutless flops. Most pathetic team in top-flight football. Play the youth.
Bloody hell. Jacob
Gray, it's not a crime to not be able to beat a team by 3 goals. I don't want to hear about the performance. The game was stolen. Maguire is slow. Matthias Anderson, thanks for your super chat, there's nothing in it. Abhinav Verma, this team is not able to push through or push when the going is tough, taking too long on the ball, unable to accelerate the pace of the game and VAR. We have this argument, and a few people said it in the chat, about leadership, about responsibility. Do you think that's an issue here, James?
I think so. I mean, you look at it from corners. Who's in charge of that? Why are United making the exact same mistake from corners? It's like, there's so many corners in the game today, and it was cross the ball in, headed out by a Burnley player. The only corner I can remember was at the end where it actually got on Maguire's back or whatever it was. Didn't even head it. It's just not good enough. And we get dragged down to these teams' level. Like I was saying earlier, Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Burnley today. It's just the players that United have. There's absolutely no excuse for not getting a result today. It just isn't good enough.
Joe, we I wasn't here, but I saw you talking about it, and after the Middlesbrough game, it was like, okay, you can't really blame the manager when you put in a load of chances, you're creating a lot of chances. His tactics were right, a bad handball as well, decision. How much of tonight, did you put on the manager? I've seen a few people again debating about Rangnick needs to take responsibility. I know he's a new manager, so we'll always have that. He's relatively new. We've got to acknowledge that. But do you blame him for tonight's disappointing result?
No, not at all.
No.
So, what's he meant to do? Fucking put it in for Cavani or Ronaldo, or stop Maguire and McTominay both getting spun, and then the amount of chances we've had, and some of it, even the players' fault. Let's not forget that. I don't think that first goal should be ruled out. I don't think the second goal should be ruled out.
I agree, but what I would say on that, I would say on that, and I'm sorry, I'll let you finish in a minute. What I agree, but there's 75 minutes left of football to play after that. So whilst you're right, and we got a goal afterwards, so it's not like that rattled us. We got a goal.
No, I'm not saying it rattled us, but I'm saying
you're right.
The fact
but I'm just thinking now, you've got 75 minutes in front of you. You're 1-0 up against a team that more than likely is championship level next season. At least next season will be in the championship. Sorry. So I just feel like whilst all those they're not mutually exclusive, it can be an injustice, and we weren't good enough.
Yeah.
I just feel like for that sort of second half in particular, when you can see they're getting at us, you need someone who's just going to go, right, get your foot on the ball, keep it simple, take the sting out of the game, keep possession for 2 minutes, so they just get frustrated, so they've lost the momentum, the crowd are getting frustrated. But there wasn't any of that. It was the ball comes to me, ping it. Yeah. I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, forgive me, I think it might have been McTominay to Delo, where he was like, from me to you, and he levered it at you.
Yeah, it was Ronaldo.
Oh, sorry, Ronaldo, right, and that's later on. And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. They're not looking up when they're passing it. It's like, it's like Sunday League football where you get the ball, you just hoof it as far as you can up the pitch. There's not looking up going, right.
There's too much of that. Players just booting the ball.
He's in space, I'll pass it to him.
Yeah.
Just like
Shaw does that all the time. Luke Shaw, the ball will be just, instead of trying to bring the ball down or make a pass forward or inside, just boot the ball up in the air. Lingard did it the end way. You just think like, well, you're professional players here. Like there's passes on. Why are you just kicking it up in the air as far as you can? It's just basic amateur stuff.
Mike Kent says, would rather they show us what they need to improve instead of telling us we need to get good at each week. Talk is literally noise at this point. Danny Shield says, Stuart Atwell on VAR for this and the Middlesbrough match. We should have been done and coasting after the first half. Officials are a disgrace. You can't. I agree. I thought the goals being disallowed, I thought was harsh, especially the Varane one. But again, my point is we should be doing better. IQ1985, who's done a couple of super chats today, so thank you for your support, says, if Maguire had gone to City, Pep would have sold him a long time ago. That's the difference between us and our so-called rivals. Don't want to put you on the spot here, Joe, but I will. But to be fair, you've been one of Maguire's most sort of vocal defenders. You've always stuck up for him. You've never sort of been reactionary. But when you saw tonight what you see with the sort of the mistake, and it is a mistake, let's not sugarcoat it, against Jay Rodriguez, who he's all right, but he's only going to score about 5 goals this season.
Was it Weghorst with a turn, wasn't
it? Sorry, not Jay Rodriguez.
Rodriguez put it in.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's difficult for me, and I'll let you answer, but to make excuses for that, it's just not good enough for a player.
No, shit.
Yeah.
And also, that's the thing, like, I know I've defended Maguire in the past, but only saying at his best he's good.
Yeah.
I haven't said he's been good this season. I said he should be dropped a few weeks ago. Like I don't just sit here like he's my dad.
No, I know you don't.
No, you're not saying that, but just to sort of clarify the position I have.
Everything's black and white now, isn't it?
You're either like him and you never defend it.
It's either Maguire FC or you're
I criticise Harry Maguire a lot. And like you said, black and white, if we were being binary with it, he's dropped us 2 points today. He has done. He got skinned in the middle, awful, and then we know he's got no pace, and usually he overcomes that with his positioning, but because his positioning's way out because he's just been skinned, he can't catch Rodriguez back up.
And he had a free header at the end, he managed to not even like...
I wouldn't call it a free header, but he climbed on someone's back to try and get a header and it hits his shoulder, which wasn't good enough. I agree. He was shit. It's shit, and it cost us 2 points.
Andy Calkin Hansen says, you are just discussing non-issues. He's put this in capitals, so I'm shouting. It was total corrupt decisions that made us draw. Gavin Anthony says, positive, Sancho and Pogba. I agree with that. James, I thought both of them played well today.
I think Sancho's come into some of his best form for United this season. I think we saw it against Middlesbrough as well. He's starting to take players on more. He seems to be getting a bit more confident in the way that he's playing. I think it was going to take a while. I mean, people had sort of raised expectations because of how good he was at Dortmund, that he was going to come straight into United and play like that. But it's taken him a while. I think under Ragnick suits him a bit more as well. So, yeah, it was a good game for him. But, again, especially in the second half, even him, he went missing. Good first half. But
second half. I still can't get over that. When a team scores against us, we just have 10 minutes where we go, oh, shit, we don't know what to do here. No matter who it is.
I've got a couple of quotes, post-match quotes, so I'll get into them. Harry Maguire says, you have seen the first half and the first 10 minutes of the second half. We did not start well enough. We have to win the game and be more clinical. Everyone knows in football the second goal is the crucial one.
And this is the thing, this is the issue I have with Maguire. Especially when he's captain as well, and he comes out with statements like this. It's just vague.
What do you want him to say?
I know, but it's just...
You don't want him to apologise, presumably.
But it's just... it's not leadership, is it?
I don't know what leadership looks like in that... What should he say there? Well, I'm not trying to be a knob, but...
I understand.
What would you call leadership? What should he say?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's just the same from him.
He doesn't stick out. He's not Roy Keane, is he? He's not someone where you go, fucking hell, I'm Maguire. I'd follow him into battle.
I don't want to be reactionary.
But it's a bit harsh.
And sort of... OTT on a bad moment in a game, whatever. But do you think there is some way you have to look at it and go, he ain't the captain?
But I don't disagree with that.
No, that's what I'm asking you.
That's the other question. Who is? Probably Bruno I'd give it to if I was going to give it to anyone. Because Ronaldo's, not playing very well at the moment. Is a bit, spits his dummy out too often. Rashford's one of the sort of most capped player,
Yeah,
most appearance players.
he's in and out.
He's in and out. De Gea's the other one who maybe give it to him now, but at no time in the last 2 years would you have given it to him before this season. So it's got to be Bruno. But I think Maguire was unfortunate in that when he was given the captaincy, there were no obvious candidates.
No.
We didn't have Ronaldo. We didn't have Bruno. De Gea was shit, and Rashford was 22. Like it was unfortunate that he was given the armband because he's not Manchester United's captain. I'm sure he doesn't feel like it around the dressing room. He doesn't feel like it when you hear him speak. And I agree with you. He's not particularly captainly at all. But he was unfortunate that he was given it because there wasn't any better options. Now there are. It's a big thing if you take it off him. So one of the things that is a bit of a bugbear of mine is this sort of self-flagellation that you see from players and it's all my fault and it's all this and that. So if he had to come out and gone, I should have done better, then he's probably going to get as much stick as saying what he was. He hasn't a bit of a hiding to nothing. I just feel like Maguire can't shake off this narrative of he's not good enough. Yeah. And he's not doing anything to silence the critics, because when he does have a good game against a West Ham or a Middlesbrough, then he makes a mistake that is very costly against Burnley. And it's difficult to defend that because we all said it before the game or during the game. This is a game that should be bread and butter to Harry Maguire. That Weghorst, he's all right. He's not like, this isn't sort of a prime Sergio Aguero or Thierry Henry you're facing here. This is a kid who's, I think he's got 12 Dutch caps, and he's 29. Yeah. So that tells you a story.
He's a mid-table player.
Yeah, he is. And that, to me, is someone that Harry Maguire should be saying all day long. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And instead, he's getting turned inside out. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, come on, man. You've got to go to Anfield and face the likes of
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, you've got Atletico Madrid. You've got to face like Suarez. You've got to face the likes of
João Felix.
Yeah. Then we've got tough games coming up. We've got you've got to face Sadio Mane and Mo Salah and players like that. And you're already struggling against, like you say, and I agree with you, a mid-table type striker. Just on Ragnick as well, he's been speaking. He says the second one, which was disallowed, I watched it in the locker room. The linesman flagged foul, but he flagged it 10 seconds after the incident. It was a soft foul. It was, but as we've discussed, there was still a lot of football left to play, and I can't keep putting it on that. I'll get in some super chats and I'll get more from you two guys. Daryl Street says, I've never seen a club with a weaker mentality. We don't deserve top four and we won't get it. Write this season off already. Seamus Nolan says, just seems like the players are more interested in pointing fingers at others and not taking it on themselves. SG, member of the Academy for 40 months, says the lack of ambition from the board seeps down and infects the whole club. We need to sign the right players for the team or they won't have confidence. SG, thanks for your support. Hypermanic says, is it just me or is Shaw a fraud? How long have we been asking for consistency from him now? What do you make of Luke Shaw tonight, Joe? Because
first half is good.
Yeah. Did he sum up United a little bit?
Yeah, pretty much.
Good first half. Not as good second half.
Yeah, he looked really good first half, overlapping, getting involved, pulling the ball back, got the assist obviously for the goal. But then second half, it's just the same thing, isn't it? Where he's just booting the ball in the air, he's not tracking back properly. Like that, James mentioned it. After their goal went in, just nothing happened. The game went from being United dominating, chance after chance after chance. There was points in the first half where we were saying, it feels like, obviously it wasn't, but it feels like every time we get the ball, there's a shot at the end of it. Whether it's a goal disallowed, a goal, a corner, it felt like we were productive. Second half, they come out sharp. We go, bloody hell, they look good. And they've scored next thing you know. And then after that, it just sort of crossed the ball in, headed it over, crossed it in, deflected out for a corner.
How many times have we seen this, honestly?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, it was the same with the Newcastle game as well. It was the same with the Wolves game. I went behind against Wolves, and it was like, okay, now we've lost this.
Yeah.
Matthias Anderson, who's been a member of the Academy for 15 months, says, so frustrating. We have some real work after the season going forward. 1 FA Cup and 1 Europa League since Fergie left. Don't forget the League Cup. Not good enough. Also as well. Geo3 says, Pogba did well, really. Average at best. Goal aside, didn't create anything and didn't control the tempo of the game. Bruno the same. Thought Pogba played better than Bruno today. Nick Albany says, fact we haven't now scored from a corner in a year. Abbas Play says, Maguire is a total shambles. Shaikh Sabahuddin, says, not again. 20 to 3 a.m. here in India now, and I've got to work at 8 a.m. We deserve so much better from these players. Tactics or no tactics. Where is the fight? Doesn't feel like this hurts them at all. Yeah, I think we were talking earlier about whether you're a fan based in Salford or a fan based in Australia, whatever. we all want.
We all
United
know it's
to
shit as
succeed,
well. You don't
and
have
we
to-
all feel it, don't we? Do you know what I mean? Whether you know what I mean, like it's just awful.
You don't
Zach
have to live in
Baxter-
Eccles to know that was shit.
Well, exactly. Zach Baxter says why can't we score corners? It's embarrassing how we can't score from a set piece. Surely it's not the coaching staff, the players need looking at. Akash Solomon said both disallowed goals were harsh, but right in the end, Maguire was offside and influenced play even if he wasn't particularly physical. Hate the consistent long balls to no one and front line not ever been on the same page. Sahil Das says, how does someone have such a massive head and still somehow manage to make a ball that's coming towards him hit his back? Pavan Sunkara says, I've never seen a United player randomly hoof or head it up in the air more than Maguire. Maguire's going to get a lot of stick, and he is getting a lot of stick. But we've spoken about him. I want to look at midfield. At the end of that first half, Joe, you were saying you like the look of the midfield. You liked it. You thought McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno, it was working well as a three, and you were sceptical about it when you saw it. The team sheet come out. Yeah, I think Pogba did all right. I'll be honest with you for the rest of the second half. I thought Bruno just wasn't at the races then, and McTominay faded.
Yeah,
and he just
I think
all
they
seems to
all
fall
faded,
apart.
didn't they? We didn't. I don't think we played that badly. Even when Burnley looked better,
Yeah.
they still didn't make loads of chances. It wasn't like some of the games we've seen in the season, like the Watford game, where they literally just fucking made tons of chances. Like it wasn't like that. We didn't do that. We weren't that bad. But it's just. There's not much balance to that, and I just feel like I said before, the confidence is so paper thin that when a team really goes for us, we just look shaky and we look scared, and we can't do that thing like you said where you keep the ball for a few minutes and just take the sting out. We're not capable of doing all that stuff. So I just think it looked good when things were going well and Pogba's passing was good and Bruno's energy and McTominay mopping things up. That worked really well. But as soon as Burnley tried to do something, the position is not quite right, and Bruno gets dragged out, Pogba gets dragged out, McTominay gets sucked into the ball like he did with when him and Maguire both got done for the goal. Sometimes you just think it all just feels a bit. We're just a step away from where a top player would be. We're a step away from a real top player would be there or get this tackle. You're never overly impressed by our midfield. Like when Wan-Bissaka first came in and someone tries to go past him, you go, fucking hell, no chance.
Yeah.
You just don't get past him. Like when he's on his best, he stands out as how good he is one-on-one. We don't have any midfielders where you go, defensively, you go, fucking hell, look at that.
No.
None of our midfielders ever make you go, Jesus, they're good defensively.
Yeah.
And we just haven't got anyone like that in the club. So I get it to some degree, but it's just not good enough when you're watching every single week thinking, we haven't got a midfielder that can do anything defensively.
Seemed like there was a gap as well.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the positioning.
United had the ball in their own half, and like we were saying earlier, they just hoofed the ball forward, and then it would go back again. And it's like there should be someone in the midfield. Like United haven't really replaced Carrick since he left. Someone there that can find a pass. I mean, Fernandes is good at creating chances, and Mata, we probably got him a bit too late, but there's just no one in there. McTominay and Fred, we've said this too many times, they're too defensive. Pogba's not really the type of player you want in there, so it's not good enough again.
Jibak Sahu says, we were playing well with Lindelof and Varane at the back, don't know why we went back to Maguire.
Well,
our
were we,
defence
though?
has been downhill ever since.
What were the results for them two playing? I'm pretty sure didn't we draw a game? Was that not the Villa game? I don't think we did
so.
do that well without them two playing.
Akash Solomon says, both disallowed goals were harsh.
I'm not saying we were shit or we lost loads of games, but I'm pretty sure we dropped points in a couple of games.
I don't know if I read this one, I'll read it anyway. Both disallowed goals were harsh, but right in the end, Maguire was offside and influenced play. I've read that, haven't I?
Yeah.
Sorry. Just going to go... yeah, sorry, lots of people getting in the chat. Hit that like button as well. You might not like the performance or the result, but give us a like on the video. Skilloscus says, bring Garner. I won't bring him into this mess. Slurp King says, Rice and Basuma. Connor Jackson says, ready for this season to be over. I'd wait until the end of February or March, whenever it is, when the Atletico games, before we start writing the season
That's
off.
the thing, I can already see it sort of frittering out, and we're already into February, and like there's still 3 or 4 months left of the season, and it's just like...
We've got a top 4 fight on our hands, if
but
nothing else.
it's just boring though, isn't it? I don't like. Remember when United used to compete for titles, and every week you'd be checking the teams in second result and see if they dropped points, and it was exciting.
You do that thing where you'd look at all the other teams and see who they've got left and predict what you think the results will be and see if you think would win the league. And now it's like,
just so
let's see if
tedious.
West Ham's going to finish above us.
Hit subscribe as well. There's a link in the chat. Give us a subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and with your help, we can do it. James, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at James Young TV, and we'll also be selling.
He's got a bag of drugs in his back pocket he's going to get out now. Go on, James. What are you selling, mate?
Hang on.
Joe, where can people find you whilst James is rifling through his
You can
pockets?
find me, one
whilst talking down to the table.
There we go. United we stand.
There we
Oh,
go.
there it is, look.
There, the visual aid was worth the wait.
Joe Smith 93 on Twitter. And
Joe
Instagram.
Smith 93. By United we stand. You know where to find me, Jay Moy. Joe, you're doing the news in the morning, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe will be live in the morning, so make sure you check that out at 10:30 tomorrow, so you can let him know what you think about United's performance. If you've still got some anger when you wake up, to vent, because they'll have all the post-match reaction as well. And we're also going to hear from Mr. Andy Takes. He's got plenty to say about everything, as usual. This has been Stretford Paddock Review. Manchester United drawing at Turf Moor. Thanks for watching.